Hey guys, thanks for tuning into the video. As you'll see on the channel, we've got tons of playlists with tons of videos to help you no matter where you are on your Football Index journey. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, give the video a like. Thanks a lot guys, and let's get into the video. So guys, it's been a big week on the index. Obviously the main thing a lot of people are gravitating towards now is the Champions League draw, the Europa League draw and everything else, right? But we've also had a lot of international teams getting announced this week as well, and particularly for the England team, it's made a lot of movements on the index. Some people stagnating, some people popping up and some moving backwards. But the main thing we wanted to chat about on the video today is the draw for the Europa League and the Champions League, okay? Just before we get into that, just a wee bit of housekeeping since we're doing a video and whatever. There's also a lot of Friday night fixtures tonight, and I've just basically, you can see the portfolio, it's not changed, right? But when organised by recently purchased, so you can see there, we've went and topped up on a bunch of folk. Denier just got too cheap for me not to buy more of. This is over 2 deposits. I did a deposit, I think, on yesterday, it might have been yesterday or the day before, and I did one today, payday, and we've topped up on some RB boys because they play tonight. Haidara's really cheap. I think he's got a shout of playing. He might not, but he's on the bench anyway. I can talk about this stuff. I'm not really, but I just wanted to show you the portfolio when we've bought folk and where we're at with it before we get stuck into the topic. So we're hoping for a good RB Leipzig performance tonight as always. Now the Champions League draw. Now the first thing you're always naturally going to be looking for is a strong team in a weak group, okay, or a strong team with a group that they're definitely going to get out of, even if it's not a weak group, one that they'll be definitely favourites for. And when you scroll through the groups, there's a few obvious headlines that strike out at you. For me, the first one, I'll watch the draw live on YouTube, but for me, oh sugar, sorry, I've totally lost my train of thought. I'm in the house, I'm doing something. Is Group G. It was my favourite group to get drawn. Obviously, supporting Leipzig this season down to the portfolio, and we've got a few Lyon players as well, and we like Lyon in general. But that is a very open group. It would be a brave person that would put a prediction on that and say who's going to finish in each position, whoever does finish third, by the way, is a very strong hold, no matter who you're holding in the Europa League, going into that stage of that tournament. After any kind of positives they can take out the group stages, it's always going to be good for those teams that go into the Europa League. The other headline, of course, was the group of death, which is Group F. Me and my friends were exchanging a lot of messages. Obviously, Celtic, we get knocked out by Cluj, who in turn get knocked out by Slavia Prague. So when you kind of know that and you support Celtic, or a team that's been knocked out the qualifiers, you tend to see where you ultimately may have ended up. And me and my mate were pretty gutted because this would have been great to see at Celtic Park this year. Barca, Inter and Dortmund, that would have been incredible. We would have definitely got pumped in most of the games. We might have got a credible draw or two here or there, but it would have been great just to have those nights back and some great teams to welcome to Celtic Park. But that group, it's in terms of Planet Index, all three of those teams, Dortmund, Inter and Barca, are guaranteed now. In my eyes anyway, they're guaranteed European football after Christmas, all three of them, so there's not really a bad position to be taken in that. Personally, I hold a bit of De Jong, and don't think I hold anyone else actually, but all those teams and all those players, even with negative results, there'll be great opportunities to pick up some of these players. If, like, let's say Inter gets spanked at the new camp and then Dortmund spank Barca at their park, then you'll find different opportunities to actually pick these guys up a bit cheaper because the fixtures might not be too kind to them. But ultimately, everyone in that group is relatively safe in terms of Planet Index, because being in the Europa League isn't really much less valuable in terms of IPD and match day potential as the Champions League. Also then increases the likelihood of maybe a Monday night fixture here and there, which again is always good for Planet Index. These couple of groups were quite interesting as well. Napoli, Salzburg and Liverpool. Now obviously there's a lot of Planet Index attention on our boy Erling Haaland, okay? Now Erling Haaland, if he does anything against Liverpool, he is going to rock it. He's going to be the João Felix of this season, because Genk are not an absolute write-off of a team, to be honest with you. Genk are no bad, but Salzburg are probably the favourites to finish third, and them going into the Europa League. They got to the semi-finals a few years ago recently, and with a positive result or two, maybe they draw with Liverpool at home, maybe they beat Napoli at some point, then if they go into the Europa League again full of confidence, they've got some players in that team that can certainly cause other teams problems. You know, Liverpool and Napoli look to be finishing through that group. King Carlo Ancelotti, you know, is Mr. You know, there's a lot of people you can say is Mr. Champions League, but for me, I love Big Carlo so much. I think he's a great manager, and Napoli, you know, are a relatively strong team these days, so they're pretty safe to get through. These two groups, again, I'm a Man City fan personally, if you don't know that already. Hope it doesn't change your opinion of me. I have supported Man City since '99. There's a story behind that. I can tell you some other time if you like to hear it, but you probably don't want to hear it right now. So I'm really happy with the City group. I think what this tells me is Phil Foden's going to play. It might not be Champions League, it might be the league matches that precede or follow, or precede or whatever, you know what I'm trying to say. The league matches around some of these, maybe the difficult away trip to Ukraine. Maybe he plays the home game before that, or the home game after that. Or I say home, the Premier League match. Going to Croatia is not too far in relative terms, and going to Italy to play Atalanta is not too bad a trip. But I see Phil Foden. I think this now cements the fixture list that they've got in Europe is now very kind. You know, the early stages of all these cups will be probably quite kind. Man City have got a great track record now of getting really positive draws, so I think we'll see some Phil Foden action, especially if I'm not been in the England national team. He's probably in the under 21 squad, I'm sure, but I think we're going to see some more Phil Foden between now and Christmas, now that this draw's been made. With Group D on Planet Index, it's really, I think what most people are watching out for is how well Leverkusen do. Now, for me, Atletico Madrid and Juventus are going to sail out of that group. I don't think the group will be easy by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't see Atletico Madrid being scared of Juventus number one. Atletico Madrid could top that group very easily. They've got a good record against Juve, and I think they met in the knockout round, I think, last year, and I think it was a Cristiano Ronaldo comeback that got them through. But I'm pretty sure the year before they might have played each other, maybe the group stages or something, because that is a fixture that, to my memory anyway, has some history to it. Leverkusen are very good and everything else, don't get me wrong, but I don't see them taking enough points away from Atletico Madrid, never mind Juventus, to really make a big shout for getting out into the knockout rounds of the Champions League. Obviously anything can happen in football, guys, and last year's tournament was absolutely mental for results, so with some of the talent they have in their team, especially Havertz, of course, anything could happen. Again, on Havertz, if he's to be the man that leads the charge out of that group, then his price could really do anything, because he'll be sought after by all the big teams. He'll still be in Champions League football. He'll be going to the Euros with Germany, and he's a very expensive player now, because he's on the cusp of being top tier, upper echelon of Planet Index, you know, the marketplace itself. And then we have the top two groups here. I'm going to go back, by the way. I know some of you are probably shouting at the video right now. I will go back and catch the Chelsea group. I'm aware that I skipped that out. Tottenham and Bayern players are now, in my opinion, very attractive, because the match days are going to be groups A, B, C and D all playing together, right? So obviously Man City have got good fixtures, and so the Spurs, so they'll be the chances of them being on alternate nights is minimal, because they're in the same group. They'll be playing on the same night, okay? But I definitely see Tottenham and Bayern on some nights, when they're at home especially. Olympiacos have been cannon fodder in the Champions League whenever they've been in it, and Red Star, I know they had a credible result against Liverpool, I think it was last year, but again at this level against Bayern Munich especially, they are cannon fodder. And in the PSG group, I text Connor at FI Manager saying, I now make Real Madrid favourites for the Europa League. I would not be surprised if they made a mess of this group somehow. Real Madrid should top it, but the form they've been on now has been so sketchy. They're riddled with injury. The club is really in disarray, but when Hazard comes onto form and steps up, they should really go on and do something. But again, I would not be surprised if they made a mess of this group. Guys like Bruges and Galatasaray, away games, they are not easy for really any team. And Galatasaray have got recent history with Real Madrid when they had Drogba in their team. To sign Falcao, there'll be some deja vu there, I think, and I would not be surprised to see Real Madrid maybe finishing on something like 8 points or something like that. It's not out of the question, certainly, with the form they've been on. It's not a prediction, guys, I'm just talking out loud with yous. And then the last group I've not spoke about, Group H, Lyon, Ajax, Chelsea and Valencia. Now, again, it's a really, really tight group. We would expect Chelsea to get through it, but It's a really, if they don't get through, it'll be a surprise, of course, by the quality they have. But again, Ajax are. I said it in the summer as well. Ajax were never going to sell their whole team. They've also sold De Ligt and De Jong, but as far as I'm aware, Van de Beek's still there, Ziyech is still there, Neres is still there, Tadic is still there. The other fullback Tagliafico, he's still there. The goalkeeper's still there. So they've got a good clutch of last year's team. So you expect them to be very strong and competitive. And we know how good Lille and Valencia both are. So that group as well could be fairly tasty. But if you look at that half of the draw, H, G, F, and E, who's your favourites for dividends? Because they're going to be the teams that are playing against each other. And it's basically the biggest score sometimes will be your midfielders and your strikers that are going to win PB. And there's some good potential there overall. It's quite a hard one to call. I've been quite strong with some things. Anything I'm saying quite strongly, I do believe. And there's a few wishy-washy things that are just, this could happen, that could happen. The other draw we had this week as well was the Europa League. Where is it? Here we go. And very, very, very busy group stage. Okay, so Sevilla have got a doddle of a group. I only actually know the headlines from the Europa League draw. Before, so this is kind of like a live reaction now, because I don't know all the groups inside out, because they only get made a few hours ago and I've been working. But Sevilla have got a very easy group. Apoel and Qarabag away from home will be difficult for anyone in the group. Dudelange, I'm pretty sure they're from Luxembourg. They're going to get spanked every week. Group B, really tight. Malmo, Copenhagen, Lugano, and Dinamo Kiev. Nothing really for Planet Index to really concern yourself with. Group C, at a glance, again, Getafe, if you've got anyone exciting from Getafe, and I don't think Krasnodar. Trabzonspor have Sturridge, so that might be something worth keeping an eye on. And Basel, I don't think they have anyone really worth of mention. Group D looks like it's going to be PSV and Sporting going through. Lask Linz are an Austrian team, and they're always good for goal bets from when I used to do normal betting. I can tell you that about them. Rosenborg I've seen quite a lot in recent years, and I expect them to not really put up much of a fight for first or second place. That's going to be Sporting Lisbon and PSV every day of the week for me. Group E, so it's going to be Celtic finishing top, and then it's a tough group. My friends are quite optimistic about it. I'm buzzing to go and see that Camavinga at Rennes. I'm going to go to all the home games. I can get tickets for them. I've got friends with season books and whatever, so I'm going to see all the home games, and I'll be happy to tell you anything I see. I always put Celtic videos up as well, so you might see some of that as the season goes on. But I'm excited to see Immobile, Milinkovic-Savic, some of these guys, see them in action. Cluj, we're going to get revenge on them. So any Celtic players worth mentioning, I would probably say Callum McGregor and Christopher Ajer, because they will be playing for Norway and Scotland respectively. So they're going to have Europa League games qualifying for match day stuff, and they'll have Euro stuff qualifying for it. And both of those players are... Odsonne Edouard is the most expensive Celtic player now, but Edouard is not going to get a look in at France anytime soon. He's probably not going... I'm going to say quite confidently he's not going to leave until the summer at least, so he's not going to transfer to a PB league. So he's only really got Europa League to play for in terms of Planet Index. But Callum McGregor and Christopher Ajer, James Forrest as well, great shouts from that side of things. And also like Lazio and Rennes players, if you're holding any of them. Then Cluj, I can tell you this, Cluj are mince, Group F, Arsenal, pretty straightforward group for them, and Frankfurt, I suppose. Group G, it's going to be Porto and either Feyenoord or Young Boys that are going to get out of that group. Rangers have not got a hope in hell as far as I'm concerned. If you're a Rangers fan, I'm sorry, but you're not getting out of that group. Porto, I don't think there's anyone really on Planet Index that plays for any of these teams that are worth mentioning. Group H, we have Espanyol. It's probably going to finish roughly in that order. Ludogorets have got a good history in recent, last 10 years of European football. They do okay, I suppose. But away trips to Moscow, no teams there will enjoy that. And Espanyol are La Liga club. You expect them to have enough quality to see them past. Wolfsburg and St Etienne, Ghent might give them. And then an away trip to, I think that's a Russian team, might be Ukrainian. I think they are Ukrainian actually. That's going to be tough overall. But again, if you're holding Wolfsburg players especially, I'd be quite happy with that group. Group J, we have Wolfsberger. They're Austrian as well, I believe. And Başakşehir, I don't know if Adebayor still plays for them or who they've got. They'll probably have somebody like Cliche or something like that in their team. But Roma and Gladbach should have a good couple of games under them against Wolfsberger especially. Wolves have got a great group. Braga when they're at home are difficult, I can tell you that quite easily. And going away to Turkey is not an easy game, but Wolves should sail through that group overall. They should get 6 points off the Bratislava, 3 points off Braga at home. And 9 points at that stage kind of sees you through as long as you don't get spanked on the other ones, I suppose. And then Man United away to Astana, that is, I can tell you from experience being a Celtic fan, that is a difficult trip. They might win it, but if they do, it'll be 1-0 or something. That is a very difficult trip and a very difficult pitch to play on. Partizan Belgrade are just as lively as Red Star Belgrade. That is not going to be an easy away trip. Alkmaar, been a strong team in the past. I don't really know. Oh, who's the boy plays for them now? Is it Stengs? Again, playing against Man United, if he was to shred them up, Calvin Stengs, I think his name is, plays for AZ Alkmaar. He could be somebody to keep your eye on. But yeah, so Planet Index, guys, a lot of people are looking for the easiest groups possible, but you also need to think about, obviously Thursday nights is all Europa League, so all these people are playing at the same time as each other. And then it's just a pissing contest. Who can score the most, who can play the best. But with the Champions League, you need to bear in mind that I think it's A, B, C, D are one match day. And then the rest of the groups are the second match day. So the first time, that'll be the Tuesday and the Wednesday. And then the following match day, whoever played Wednesday plays the Tuesday. I know, I think all those fixtures are pretty much out now. But I just wanted to give you a quick rundown, just for the sake of really doing a video and have a chat with you. If you are new around here, like, share, subscribe, retweet, all that good stuff, guys. Stay out of trouble, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.